Happy Tuesday. So today's Just for Today was titled Reaching Out. And it really made me think of where I was when I thought I was trapped. There got to this point, and if you've watched these, well, never mind, I always say that, you know. There got to this point in my life where I was using, you know, every weekend, and I would deal with misery throughout the week. The first day would be just a nightmare. The second day would still be a nightmare. That point between the first day and the second day, where like you want the nightmare to end, but you know when you wake up, it's gonna be another nightmare, and so you're afraid of that. And then the next day you feel a little bit better. I feel a little bit better, so then I start acting like I'm better, like start acting cocky, start acting, you know, making stupid jokes to kind of like deflect what everybody already knows. And then by Thursday I act like nothing's happened, as if Tuesday and Wednesday weren't fucked up. And then Friday comes along and I'm feeling, you know, better, just so on Saturday I could pray all fucking day and then fuck Saturday night up. Over and over and over and over again. This vicious cycle I was in, where I wouldn't reach out to anybody. I would sit within my own shit, and the only person I was talking to was also in active addiction. How could that person help me? I'm not even mad at that person anymore about it. What could they possibly do? You know, and I'll put some admission here. They didn't want me to be that way. They were stuck in theirs. And I was using a lot of emotional blackmail and a lot of like manipulation tactics so I could be on that same level. Just so I could be terrible. It was a vicious cycle I put both of us through. I take full ownership of that. And it just wouldn't stop. I know that's exactly how I would get, but worse, if I gave up my recovery again. When I give up my recovery again. So it has to be that just for today. We're not going to do it today. Not today. Luckily, I haven't had this desire to use. And I've had some shit happen in my life that in all other areas of my life, I probably would have used over that, or over that, or over that. Fuck, man, I used over the dumbest things. And I'm grateful that I don't have to live like that today. But it all started with reaching out. I had to get honest. I had to get real fucking, all right, I could lose everything. And the freedom I've given myself, and the freedom that my higher power has given me, the people in recovery have given me, gives me the ability to give back. Yesterday was my last day of OP, and that has been a journey. You know, almost 2 years of that, close to. I mean, if you think about it, I'm about 2 months away from 1 year clean. And I enrolled in that thing in February of 2024, thinking I could control the situation, and I knew better. Like in every situation that ends up having a lot of character defects involved. My control. My will. So I'm grateful that I gave, it's not that I gave it a shot. What I did is I told myself, it's all or nothing. And in the process, I've met some amazing people. I've got 2 hikes planned out. 3 if you count my sister and my conversation with her, that are going to be in really amazing places, all because I reached out. I've never truly given up on myself, but here's the thing: we give up on ourselves every time we pick up. Every time I picked up, I gave up on myself. And it didn't matter what the reason was. There's no good enough reason to get loaded for me. I can't think of one. No relationship, no death, no financial struggle, nothing. There's not one thing that says that if you get loaded, this will be better. Other than the fact that I don't want to feel a certain way, other than the fact that I don't want to fucking deal with something, I have found healthy outlets. I was in my head yesterday. I went on a hike. And it worked out perfectly. It worked out perfectly. I got on the app. I found something nearby. Went to it. Hiked while I was in my fucking head. And then when I got back, I finished my packet. I sat down and I said, I don't care if I'm late. I'll finish this packet. I finished my packet. Which is once the packet's done, your class is complete. That has been on me. But see, we go as long as we need to. And that's okay. So I finish the packet, I plug it in the maps, and it tells me that I'm going to be there 1 minute before. My maps is very accurate. All our maps are very accurate. I never can beat that. I never can think, oh, I'm going to get there. Like, I've tried. I'm going to get there like 10 minutes earlier than the maps say. No, you're not. It's always right on time. It's amazing. I come from an era of fucking MapQuest and fucking Thomas Guides. And some of you don't know what a Thomas Guide is because you're not from California. But that was the map I used back in the day. It was a fucking book, spiral book this big, and you fucking mapped out your directions to where you were going, and then you went. You had to plan it way ahead of time. I was good enough to just look on that motherfucker and just read it. I'm so grateful for technology today that I can just plug that bitch in my phone and go. But it also takes away from some of my direction. Like, I'll use maps to get somewhere and I won't know how to get back unless I have maps. That didn't used to be the case for me. Because I had to map it out a certain way, then I knew how to get back by memory. I'm just following my phone. It's kind of like with the struggles in life. Yeah, I had a rough morning, and it wasn't even like that bad. I didn't have like one of the dreams where I was using or anything. I've only had a couple of those, thank God. In recovery, we call those freebies. I've only had a couple of those, and they've all been like specific to something that has helped me get through it. I feel like my higher power puts a dream in my mind that I'm at that point in my life where I'm struggling with it, but I can get through it. So my higher power says, okay, here, let's deal with this. Whether it be, a relationship or death or my dad or, my job, these things pop in and I figure out how to get through it. Usually my dream or when I get out of my dream and I'm, thinking about it. But, I went to the, and then what I did is I decided I don't start till late. I'll go back to sleep, and I feel rejuvenated because I already had my gym bag set, and I was just gonna go on, basically 2 hours of sleep, and that's not. I got to take Shayna to the airport at 4 a.m. tomorrow, so I'm really grateful that I did that because now I'm not really tripping on having to take her at the airport at 4 a.m. So yeah, pretty stoked about that. It'd be amazing if that bed showed up today, and her and her man can sleep on that. I might just let them sleep on the bed. I might. Probably be good for them because they got to fly out and stuff. Okay, I'm going to, which means I'm sleeping on the couch and waking up at 4. Whatever. We do things early to be of service. I've got somebody that is going to court next week, and I'm going to show up early for that. That's what we do. You know, we show up for others because we show up for others. Not because I want to get something, not because I need something back, not because they owe me one. Because we show up for others. Because you know what? People show up for me if I need them, if I ask. People already have. They've lent me their cars, they've bought me tires, you know, like all kinds of stuff. People have shown up for me, so I show up for people. And that's just what we do. That's what we do. Do it enough times and you start feeling better about yourself. Like, okay, yeah, I might be that guy that people can count on. Because I wasn't. Ain't nobody fucking, you know, a year and a half ago gonna call me and say, hey, I need you for something. No. They're too worried about my shit. They're like, man, that they couldn't focus on their shit. So, yeah, today, I feel good right now. I need a big day today. I need a big day every day. I don't ever go into work not thinking I need a big day. That's like with my job at least. I don't know what, like, if you, whatever you do, if like you drive to work and like I need to get enough of these things scanned on the register, or I need to get these lawns, you know, I guess maybe lawns, but you know what I mean, like it's a sales thing. It doesn't have to downplay anybody else's thing. I make commission only, and so my kids rely on me to be the best version of me out in this bitch. And the only way I can do that is by being of service to others, to working my program, to being accountable. I've got this situation I'm struggling with right now, and I'm praying to God for God to decide on how this is going to work out for me. It's not a situation that, like, if I were to put on paper and say, hey, this is how I want it to lay out, it would lay out. The characters are right, but the situation is not. So I'm working through that. I'll figure it out. I need to make sure I go in everything with good intentions, and I go into everything with recovery and at the forefront. I really like being able to share my last message at OP. And just let them know, hey man, you can have time under your belt and fuck up. Here's what I needed for me. What you need for you will be different. But these are the things that everybody tells me to do. Give it a shot. You never know. So that's my message of today. That's me getting things out. And that's me also being grateful that I reached out. Reach out. If you're not quite sure what to do, reach the fuck out. You know, like if you're stuck in a place in life where you just can't stop getting loaded, or you can't stop getting drunk. Well, loaded is all of it. If you can't stop getting loaded, you just don't know why you keep doing this to yourself, and now you're doing it against your own will. There's a place. There's a place. There's a thing to get around that. It's not even around it. We don't get around these kind of things. We'll go through them. We don't get around them. Like with every storm, you have to go through the storm in order to experience overcoming adversity. So you would go through the storm. But if you have a higher power, your higher power won't let you die in the storm. And like a friend of mine who's also a mentor of mine, I'd come back and I'd I'd be like, fuck, man. And he'd say, well, did you die? I'd say, what the fuck? No. And he's like, well, you didn't die. But did you die? I always hated when he'd say that shit. And now it's like so true. And I miss him. He's just not my manager anymore. So yeah, that's my message of today. And we all have what it takes. You have what it takes. Are you doing what it takes? Maybe, maybe not. But you have what it takes. As long as we're breathing and we have the power of saying enough is enough, we have what it takes. And then it just comes down to putting in the work. And that work sometimes feels terrible, but it's worth it. No great thing requires like no work. Even winning the lotto, you have to play. Nothing's ever handed to us, is it? And the things that are handed to us, we had to earn one way or another. It might not be blood and sweat. It might be tears. It might not be tears, it might be sweat. Sometimes it is blood. But we earn things with blood, sweat, or tears. Sometimes all of them. So have a good day today. Say 5 gratitudes. And then if you're still shitty, say 5 more. And if you're still shitty, say 5 more. We all have at least fucking 50 gratitudes we can say if we really get down to it. There's 50 things you can be grateful for. And if you can't think of 50 of them, look around. Look at your limbs. The fact that you're breathing. That you're not in a fucking hospital. There's a lot. There's a lot. You got to do with no arms that fucking found a way to make it. So, you got this. We got this. Together we stay clean. Kill it. Carpe diem, motherfucker.